Anyone have any questions? Oh, now come on. Really? Nobody talked about me at lunch and decided you had a question? Something I didn't answer? Yeah.
So, when we write lesson plans, are we doing it on the co-ed template, or are we doing whatever our teacher wants us to do?
You should start out writing them on the College of Ed templates. Then we can revisit.
Okay.
How's that? It's okay. And then you can talk to your supervisor. Okay? Okay. Write them on the College of Ed templates. Okay? Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
For the elementary ed unit plans, I know we're supposed to have more than one subject kind of experience. So should we have one lesson plan that's like math and then one that's science that includes the math? Like I'm trying to use.
You can do it either way. Okay, so this is just like a very generic example. Okay, so when I taught first, like I taught a penguin unit. Okay, so I did like social studies as to where they're located. We did math skills and some different things like that. Science, obviously, with the penguin. Math, are you as tall as an emperor penguin? You know, and so we would graph ourselves. Reading, there's 1 million books that you could do 1 million skills about. Does that make sense? Okay, so you can have something integrated every day. Like your lesson could be strictly math, or it could be math with reading, or math with science. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does that help elementary? Okay. Any other questions? No? Sure? All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Backus. She has a special guest with her that she will introduce, and then she is also going to talk about our professional development schools grant. Sorry. It's okay, sorry.
If you like, you all can come and sit up here maybe for just a minute.
Oh, yeah.
and
You have to
sit
behave
down,
if
or-
you're sitting up.
And Amanda, if you don't care to pass these.
I don't care one bit.
Thank you. All right. Good afternoon. I know this is a really exciting time for everybody. Oh, look, seeing some of my peeps. Sorry, secondary people, I have no idea who you are. You'll see my elementary peeps that I love. So I'm Mindy Backus, and I'm a professor in the College of Ed, and I mainly work with elementary teacher candidates. So I'm also the director of a state grant, and it's called the Professional Development Schools Grant. Some of you secondary people probably got emails from, I don't mean to call you secondary people, but the secondary teacher candidates probably got emails from me last semester, and you really had no idea who I was, but I was talking to you about a STEP program, like some professional development that you could come to. Well, that was me, by the way, that was sending you those emails. So through this state grant, we can offer some things to you that we wouldn't be able to offer without this. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we have to offer you and show you the website, and I will actually be sending you email updates when things are due. Nothing is required for what I'm going to tell you. It's all voluntary, but it's some good stuff. So I'll send you emails throughout the semester reminding you of what's coming up. So Amanda is passing out the website for our PDS program. PDS stands for Professional Development Schools, and this is a grant sponsored by the Department of Education. And most, but not all, of the colleges and universities in West Virginia have a PDS program. So I work with 22 schools in Cabell and Wayne County through this program. So for you all, here it is. For you all, what you want to do is go to this tab that says Teacher Candidate, okay, to look at the things that I'm getting ready to talk to you about. So you can go to that website. This is the home page, and when you click on Teacher Candidate, the first thing that comes up is STEP, Student Teacher Extended Preparation Program. And that is what you received emails from me, I need my dates here, last semester. So we're going to offer a couple step sessions this summer, not this summer, this spring. And they are kind of what we call our Saturday seminars. And I know your Saturdays are precious to you, but they are a great way to start your professional development. As a teacher, you never stop learning. So if you think, yoo-hoo, this is my last semester to learn, it never is. So you have to do professional development, and you should want to do professional development when you are a teacher. You've got to keep learning. There are new things that come out all the time. So we want to kind of start you on that path. So we do offer, right now we're offering 2 different sessions, and we're doing it differently than we did last semester. So and all the information is on here. So if I click on Student Teacher Extended, it tells you a little bit about it, kind of briefly what I just said. I have some comments from previous students from previous sessions, and then, wow, I have no idea how that turned green. But anyway, so the green information tells you what you get if you come to one of these Saturday seminars. The seminars are from 9 o'clock to 2:30. Again, it's not required, but what we're going to do this time is we're going to break them into a morning session and an afternoon session. So the first one is February 1st, and that is for secondary teacher candidates. In the morning, there will be a technology session just for secondary teacher candidates, learning how to integrate technology into the classroom. And then in the afternoon, there will be teaching strategies and management strategies and all that for secondary teacher candidates. So you'll get both the technology and the teaching strategies. On February 15th, we're doing the same thing with the elementary. So half of the day will be the technology, and it'll be tailored to elementary classrooms. And then the other half of the day, and I'm not sure which one is going to be which for that one, if it's going to be technology in the morning or technology in the afternoon. But half will be technology, and then the other half will be the strategies for elementary teachers. So if you come, you'll get a quick little breakfast, like some little mini bars and fruit or something like that. And then you get lunch. It's usually pizza, chips, and like a little dessert. You'll get any materials that are shared with you, and then you get $25, a $25 stipend. We're trying to do what you might experience when you become a teacher. So anyway, we hope that you will attend these. If you want to come, then if I scroll down, here's the first one. Wow, this is really weird. Okay, so when I typed this up, it said click here, and now it's changed to register. And like, this is my website, like nobody else. Anyway, and it's green. Okay, let me just do this and make sure. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, so I need to go back and check what's going on with this website because I have no idea how those words got changed from Saturday to right now. And when I click on that, obviously it didn't go to the registration page. So something like extremely bizarre is going on with the website. So give me until tomorrow to make sure that's up and working. But February 1st is for the technology and secondary candidates, and February 15th is for the elementary and the technology. Sorry about that. Very odd. Okay. I mean, I'm the only one that has this website. I know I just said that, but I can't figure out how that happened. So anyway, okay, so I'm going to go back to teacher candidate. I will fix that. And then the next one is the student teacher mini grant. I would encourage you to apply for a student teacher mini grant. When you click on that tab, I know it's probably really hard to see, and this looks the same, but it says click here to get the application. You can get it in a Word format or a PDF format. The application is just a one-page application. Talk with your cooperating teachers, and if you want to apply for a mini grant, you just fill that out and send it in to me. The directions are all there. And you can get up to $200 to help you with whatever you're doing with your unit. In the past, teachers have done field trips. They buy materials. They bought books.
Oh gosh, all
Trying to think.
kinds
I
of
mean, there's
stuff.
just anything that
Anything you
between
think
you and
of.
your teacher
Yeah.
that you work out that you want to add this to your unit.
Didn't we have like a pizza party one time for like a fraction?
We
unit?
did, but they're not allowing
Not
the parties
No,
anymore.
no food.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
you can do food if it is part of your unit.
Right.
Like if you're doing some type of,
Yeah.
I don't want to say a culinary unit,
Right.
but anyway, if the food is involved in your unit, but we can't do
Yeah.
parties. At
The field
that-
trip though is usually
Yeah,
the.
a lot of people use it for the field trip, and then for materials
Yeah.
that you want for your unit. So the first one, and all this information, by the way, when you go to the website, over here where it says weekly news, that's where all the dates are, okay? But I will send you reminders when things are due. We have, you can apply for the first placement or the second placement. If you get one for the first placement, then you can't apply again, okay? We only give one for each student teacher if you want to apply. The first one is due January 29th for your first placement. And again, that information is on there. And the second placement, the due date is March 18th. So January 29th by 4 o'clock, they need to be sent to me, and then you will be informed on January 31st. January 29th is a Wednesday, so you will know that Friday if you receive the grant. And that's plenty of time for you to, because you're already working with your teacher on your unit, but you probably haven't started major writing on it yet. So, and then the second one is due March 18th, and you will be informed on the 20th. So there is a PDS advisory council that reads these. It's not just me. We have, on our advisory council, we have teachers out in the schools, our cooperating teachers, and then we have faculty in the College of Ed, and we have one university supervisor. So all of those read them. Yes, sir?
What did you say was the first deadline? On here it says September 11th and October 30th.
Okay.
I think I'm in the right place.
On the website?
Student teacher mentor.
Yeah.
Okay, I just changed all this on Saturday.
It did not take. January 29th is the
Yeah.
first step.
Okay. January 29th and March 18th. I just spent Saturday updating this entire website.
Oh,
Mine says that. Mine says the right date.
Okay, is this the, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yours says it on there? Okay.
This is so weird.
Well, the whole wording changed.
Yeah.
Does it,
It's right on the side
It's
over
on the
there.
side over here, but it's
Under
not-
teacher candidates,
It's
it's
not
just
bold.
wrong in the black bold over
Oh, you're
there.
right.
okay.
So it's right there.
All right, I will make sure that is correct. But anyway, so sorry about that. So, are there any questions about the mini grant? Okay, talk with your teachers. Now, teachers can also apply for, hold on, so I'm in the thought. Can also apply for a teacher grant for $100. And a lot of times, the teacher and you will combine yours, so then that's $300. Okay, so when you talk to your teacher, remind your teacher that he or she can also apply for a teacher mini grant, okay? Doesn't have to go along with yours, that could be totally separate, okay? As long as they host a student teacher, it's kind of like our thank you for hosting a student teacher, okay? But a lot of times teachers will combine it with yours, so you can get $300. Barb?
How is the recipient selected without scholarship?
Like, or the grant.
For the grant?
The grant, sorry.
We read them, and it's really just a ranking system. I tell everybody to rank them. And depending on the funding, like right this semester, we can take up to 10.
Okay.
But it depends on how much is, because a lot of times people don't use all of it, so we can take more. So it kind of varies. But when the council reads it, they rank them. So if there's, if there are a ton of them, then you may not, if you apply the first placement, you may not get it, so then you could apply the next placement. But the number right now will really just depend on how many apply and how much money they're asking for. But there's kind of we're looking at a 10 number right now, but that could be a little bit more. 3.
I just want to know if the step training, since it is broken up in secondary and elementary, will be period for last semester.
Okay, so the presenters know that some of you who went last semester could be the same people, so they know to make it different. Yeah. Any other questions?
Is, since I could go to either elementary or secondary, is the technology section the same for both?
No, it'll be, yeah, they are gonna, this time they're gonna tailor it. So if you're there on February 1st, it'll be really just for secondary people, technology. And if you're there on the 15th, it'll be for elementary. So it'll be different. Okay? All right, so I apologize, I'll get that all fixed, but the dates are okay here? Okay, and I'll get the, where you click to register, I'll get that fixed. That is really bizarre. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to tell you about, or the second to last thing, if I go back to teacher candidate, the third thing here is student teacher awards. And every semester we offer 4 student teacher awards, 1 elementary teacher candidate, or student teacher, sorry, I've been saying teacher candidate all morning in my class. 1 secondary student teacher of the semester for this year, a related arts / early childhood student teacher of the semester here, and then an overall dedication to service student teacher of the year of this semester. So we offer those 4 awards. Student teachers are nominated by their cooperating teachers and by their university supervisors. And then the same council, the PDS council, reads those and ranks those. If you are awarded one of these, you will be recognized at the recognition ceremony at the end, your College of Ed graduation. You will also receive a $200 honorarium, which is a $200 check from us saying thank you for being excellent. And these are, by the way, great things to put on your resumes. The STEP, all the professional development that you attend, receiving an award. It's wonderful for resumes. Now, you can also, and I'm sure Amanda's already told you this, you can also nominate your teacher. I don't know if you all talked about it
We haven't
yet,
talked
or-
about it, but no,
Okay.
yes.
Well, anyway.
That's okay.
So you can nominate your teacher. We also have a teacher of the year / semester award. So you can nominate your teacher, and your teacher can receive a $200 honorarium. And we usually have that teacher be our guest speaker along with the student who is the overall dedication to service. We also ask them to be our speaker at the recognition ceremony. So we have 2 honored speakers. We have our overall dedication to service, student teacher of the year, and our teacher, cooperating teacher of the year. And those are our guest speakers at graduation, your college graduation. Okay? All right. So that is this last tab where it says co-teacher of the year. That's where you can nominate your teacher, okay? So they can nominate you, you can nominate them. All right, so that's what is in the teacher candidate tab. Any questions about that? All right, the only other thing I wanted you to look at, and this is where our guest, somebody who you'll love way more than looking at me up here, our guest comes in. If you go over to professional development, the very first thing that you'll see is video series, and if you click on that, start saying, I'm a little scared what might pop up here. But if you click on that, right now we have 3 trauma videos and we have 1 video on suicide. And this semester we are also adding LGBTQ+ and drugs and the brain, and what drugs do to the brain. So this 3-part video series on trauma, if you are an elementary candidate, you have already seen the first 2 videos. I hope secondary students have seen the 2 videos. If you haven't, you really want to watch these. Trauma is the #1, unfortunately, the #1 concept for professional development today in schools everywhere. Teachers aren't asking for strategies and ideas anymore. They've got those. They're asking for health professionals to be in their schools. I don't know if you followed any of the legislature just around the nation. They are putting health professionals in schools because that's what we need, unfortunately. For the elementary student teachers, there's a third video that we're wanting you to watch, and I think Amanda has.
I distributed those this morning.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
well, I'm just
So
talking
we're
out of
good.
my
No,
mouth.
it's okay.
So anyway.
I didn't tell them anything about it. They just
Okay.
picked it up. Yeah.
So there's a questionnaire that we would like for you to, go through. This is something that your teachers are going through. They are learning about trauma and the effects of trauma on children. I mean, that's what their professional development is all about. So we told them we want you to have, you to be informed on that too. If you are a secondary student teacher, the video on suicide, that was the #1 type of trauma that the secondary teachers requested, unfortunately. Now, that doesn't mean our elementary student teachers shouldn't watch it. Obviously, you should, but suicide was what our secondary teachers said that thought and that thinking is very prevalent in the middle school and high school today. So they want you to be informed about it. And then also the LGBTQ+, and then the drugs. Those were the things that the secondary teachers have specifically requested. But of course, obviously, elementary, we need to watch that too. So that's where the video series is. They're each one about 50 minutes long, okay, but you can watch them from your home. The first one is just about what is trauma, what do we mean about trauma? And then the second one is recognizing children of trauma. And then the third one is working with, like, what are some strategies to work with children of trauma? And you would just be surprised, they're everywhere.
I mean, my husband just had a bus driver professional development, and it was on dealing with kids with trauma.
That's
you
what,
know,
that
so-
is across the nation.
Yeah. It's
what
not just in
everybody-
classrooms or anything like
Yeah.
that. Anyone who deals with children. So.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate
Yeah.
that that's where we are. So you really need to be informed, okay? So I hope you will watch these videos. And to go along with that, one of the programs that we're starting here at Marshall is we are starting a therapy dog program. Some of you that have any class know about this because I love to talk about it. But our program is called MU PAWS, P-A-W-S, and PAWS stands for Providing Awareness, Wellness, and Support. And one of our superheroes is here today, and this is Isabella. And so, did she go? Hi, sweetie. Hi, sugar. Oh, Isabella has been out to, she's been into some of our classes here at Marshall. She's also been out to, I don't know if anybody knows Allison. This is a student teacher from
A couple semesters ago.
yeah. She had Isabella in her classroom, and so if you would like to request a therapy dog to come to your classroom, you just need to contact me, and it might be Isabella, it might be, we have about 7
6 or 7, yeah.
dogs right now. We want this to grow. We're just starting, baby steps. So we have about 7 dogs that we're working with right now. So I'm gonna let, if you would like for Isabella to come around and see you, if anybody does not want Isabella to come and see you, then you just need to say,
No, thank
as she
It's all
comes around.
good. Right?
Okay.
No, thank you.
But I know this is it's an exciting day, but it's a really stressful day. So just pet her and go, oh, Lord, get me through this semester. And it's like magic. But while I have like just a few minutes.
Sure.
So while either Robin or Dick is maybe bringing Isabella around to just calm you and make you feel good, Robin can tell you a little bit about therapy dogs and what she does when she, this is Robin and Dick Ash, and Robin is a trainer for therapy dogs here in Huntington. And so she's been my go-to to go out into the schools. She's gone to Martha Elementary and Cerrito Canova Elementary and the alternative Buffalo and the alternative school in Cabell County. So she can tell you a little bit about, or whomever, however you want to do it, a little bit about it and maybe what they could do if they come into your classroom. And while they're doing that, we'll just enjoy Isabella and just, pet and be calm. But before they start, do you have any questions for me? See, you just pretend to do it. Anybody?
I have a question. The trauma papers, are we just keeping those in our binders to like show, or are we?
For now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should know.
Don't, and just, it's just a good It's sort of a guide, like a study guide as you're watching the video, you know, to go through and just answer some questions, take some notes on.
I was just curious if it's like level 2, like where we have in our mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just hang on to those. I'm trying to find out if we need to submit those, and if we do. Okay.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna let you all do your thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, one more question.
Unrelated. So do we need to have our lesson plans like we did for you, all the ones that we taught, or just?
Oh,
We need to print it off.
we'll talk about that. Okay.
I think you'll talk about with your supervisors
with your
and all that.
supervisor,
Yeah, when
yeah.
we do the breakout session. Oh,
Yeah.
your hair looks very pretty.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
Come on, up. Good girl. I'm gonna let her come around and visit just a minute, but as soon as she got up here, she was ready to get on the stage. So this is Isabella, better known as Bella. She is a Shetland sheepdog, and sometimes you'll hear them called Shelties. And she is a certified therapy dog. She'll be 2 at the end of March, 3, sorry, at the end of March. And she has been, you have to be a year old to take your therapy dog test, and she was 13 months. So her predecessor was the first therapy dog at Cabell Huntington Hospital. So when she passed, we were very passionate about getting another dog back in the hospital. So, all right, sweetie, you go visit. And again, just reiterating what Mindy said, we know that there's people that really, number one, you're allergic to dogs. Number 2, you've had an experience that you really don't care for dogs. We have people that have never really been around dogs. That just really aren't, they're really not that interested. It's not offensive. It will offend her, but it doesn't offend you. She'll look at you like there's something wrong with you if you don't want to visit. She'll get out. It's very funny to watch people go by, and she looks at us like, what am I, chopped liver? They didn't even stop to visit. But obviously, please let us know. And that goes for any time that you're in a class or in an experience with a therapy dog here on campus. Just let them just say, you know, I just don't care. It's not a problem. Okay, so Mindy was talking about the ImmuPause therapy dog program, and always the first thing I want to address is the difference between a therapy dog, an emotional support dog, and a service dog, okay? The biggest difference, that's the easiest thing to identify, is a service dog and an emotional support dog is for one individual, okay? A therapy dog is for everybody. So that's one easy way to identify a difference. Service dog, legality-wise, has public access to just about anything, okay? There are certain situations that they're not allowed access, but the majority of the time, they can go anywhere they need to because they are providing a service for the person that cannot do that service on their own. So obviously, the easiest thing is a canine dog. That's kind of a given, and that's usually what you used to see the majority of when you see a service dog. A service dog, legally, you can ask, what service do they provide you? That's really the biggest question. You know, is that a service dog? What service do they provide you? Okay. Those are the only 2 questions you can ask legally of a person that has a service dog. Emotional support dog, you should have is anybody in here have an emotional support dog or animal? Okay. You should have a doctor's excuse that says that you need this animal. And the reason for that is because anybody can ask you any question from that perspective. With an emotional support animal. And it can supposedly just be about any animal. What kind of source? A cat, okay. On one of the soaps that I watch, they have what are the dragons? Bearded dragon, yeah. Which I think is pretty cool, you know, just ride along where they're going. But for an emotional support animal, legally, the housing system, i.e. here at Marshall, you have housing that you're allowed to bring your emotional support animal, as well as the airlines. They have some
specific guidelines for having an emotional support animal, but they are not allowed access, as well as therapy dogs are not allowed access like service dogs are, okay? Some places here in Huntington are very willing to let you bring your dogs, just your pets, in from that perspective. So that's the biggest thing. Service dog, emotional support dog, one person, therapy dog, every dog. Yes, ma'am?
Are ESAs allowed in Walmart?
Walmart allows an animal. as
Do
long as
they?
it's on a
Yeah,
leash.
you have to have
Has
blanket
to
on
have
the
a
blanket,
blanket
but
or
you
on
don't
a
take it.
leash.
But you can take them in. See, I did not know that.
I didn't know
So
that either.
I know that Michael's and Lowe's
Yeah, Lowe's is in
allows, yeah. The bodega downtown used to have yappy hour for dogs on Friday nights. I don't know if they still do, but they say if your dog's well behaved, you can take it in. And the market downtown allows animals to come in. Okay, because they're an open air market type thing. Now, when you see her doing things, with Mindy, she's not really supposed to do any of that with anybody else, but we allow her to do it with Mindy, okay?
And I kiss her and I'm supposed to do that.
But so yeah, if she starts to get in your bag or your purse, and you've got food in there, it's all over. And she's not supposed to do that either. But the biggest intent for a therapy dog is just to make you smile. Who has dogs, cats, any pets? Okay. Most of you all go home, they make you smile, they make you happy. They're your own therapy animals, okay? The only difference between Isabella and yours is that she's certified to come to specific places that she's requested to attend, okay? When we go to the elementary schools, I will give you a best practice that we have acquired already. The first person, when she went to Martha, the teacher had the students, I think they were fourth grade honor type students.
They're tagged.
Thank you, okay. She had them watch a little thing about therapy dogs, the difference between the three, so they would be educated. I only talked for, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes if that long, because she said they had watched it. And they watched a little thing about Shelties, which I thought was really cool. So they were asking us all kinds of questions that I wasn't expecting. But they had the questions written out. And so they were ready. It wasn't like she said, oh, well, think of 2 or 3 questions you want to ask. They had them all written. And then the aide that was in her class called on all the students. And we have found that's the easiest way to do it. Either the teacher or the aide or student teacher, whomever is assisting with that day or that event, to have them call on the students. And they were all very interactive. I think every class we've been in, she loves to play ball. I mean, it's like she's playing soccer, and she knows, she does it with her nose, and she hits it, she'll bounce it off her nose into the air. I didn't teach her, she just does it. So we usually try to take a ball with us to a class, so when the kids go, does she do any tricks? If there's enough room, we allow her to play ball a little bit, and we allow them to come up and toss the ball to her and to have some fun, so they're not just sitting there, the whole time talking and listening to us. So do you all have any questions? Hopefully there'll be yes ma'am.
What is she trained to do? Like, what does she have to do to pass the exam and stuff?
She has to have basic manners is the first part. Sit down, come, stay, loose lead walking, okay? And loose lead walking, you used to kind of hear the term heel, where they had to be right by your leg, but a lot of the organization that we're part of now, the Therapy Dog Certifying Organization, allows for a loose lead, which means your dog's just not pulling you, as long as they're not, pulling hard to get in front of you or to pull you along. That's loose lead walking. The added thing for the therapy dog part is noise. And the expectation is not that they don't scare of noise, but they recover from noise. Something, there was a loud noise in the back while Dr. Backus was talking. she got up and she turned and she looked and then she laid back down. Anything to do with canes, crutches, wheelchairs, and being able to visit in a wheelchair type thing. So you add in kind of the medical part along with the basic manners. Yes, ma'am?
Is she, when she goes to the classroom, is she always on a leash or?
Yes. Our organization, I think they all do, require that they have to be on a leash for legal purposes because we have quite a large insurance policy once they're certified, unless she is doing a demonstration. So if we have a confined enough area, like this would not be confined enough because she has an exit there, there, and there, okay? Not that I say she'd run away from all this attention, but you never know what might happen. She wants to be on the stage. But if we're doing a demonstration like the ball, then we can take her off leave so that she could do that demonstration and then that's it. That's it? Okay, you have any other questions? So the one thing that I will ask of you, yes, sir.
So is the intent for like bringing her to the classroom, is that to like teach them about therapy dogs, or is she actually like there to like comfort them?
Well, when we go, it's to teach, okay? It's for them to understand what a therapy dog or a therapy animal is and the difference between the three. If a teacher were to call and ask for us that they maybe had something occur in the school and they wanted us to come, then we would be doing that as well. We have not done a trauma type situation before. And actually the therapy dog organization we were involved with previously would not allow us to do that unless we had a specifically trained trauma dog. And their point to that would be an actual trauma, like, you know, the earthquake, disaster type trauma, okay? That would be a big national type situation. Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to follow up to our eventual goal with our program is that's why we have this program here at Marshall. We want it to be therapy for our students. And so my eventual goal is that we will have a therapy dog in each college in the university. And then we've brought in counseling and student support and all that. So, I mean, we're just starting, but that's our goal. If any of you are at Spring Hill Elementary, I don't know if anybody if you're student teaching there, Spring Hill Elementary has a full-time therapy dog that her name is Haven, and that was part of our inspiration for starting this program. And Haven belongs to the assistant principal, but she stays with the counselor all day. And so anytime a student comes to the counselor's office or the counselor has to go and get a student from a class, Haven goes. And the student has to actually walk Haven back to the counselor's office. And the counselor said by the time they get back to the office, she said, half my job's done, you know. And she said, the counselor there, her name is Amy, she said she has never had pets. And she said she will never work, her statement, that was one of the statements I used when I was pitching this to the university. Her statement is she will never work without another dog. Because they are therapy. So that's our eventual goal. But right now, we're just getting the information out there. Okay.
And the last thing to that is, if you have any opinions at all of how you think a therapy dog could be used in the environment that you're here at Marshall, please pass it on to Mindy. Okay, because that's the status we're in right now, is that gathering, we have ideas, just like she talked about that end goal, but we need to get a really good understanding of what the faculty as well as the students would like to see in connection with therapy dogs. I don't know, did any of you all come to the library during Dead Week and see her? It was a blast. When you've got a dog that wants attention 24/7, she was on point. It was like everybody that came in the door. And there were even some students that were like, I just don't have time And she'd just keep following them like this. And they'd turn around and come back and sit down with her. And after like 5 minutes, I'd say, do you have somewhere you're supposed to be? Because previously, you know, I don't want you to be late because you're sitting there completely lost, like she was talking about, in visiting with her. But it was hilarious. She had the best time ever. So do you have any other questions? Yes.
So if I were to, like incorporate it into one of my lesson plans where I'm also teaching health, how would I go about requesting time with one of the adults, or how much it will cost?
Oh, there's no cost.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I shouldn't have said that, Robin. Where are you? No.
Yeah.
There's no cost. You just email me. My email is, it's Bacchus5, but it's all over, well,
Everywhere.
it's, we'll make sure it's, yes.
Yeah.
And we'll get it set up.
Okay, how much time do you usually have? Or, do you have to have specific time requirements, or?
Well, they can't work more than like an hour, right?
An hour.
An hour at a
Yeah.
time. They get tired.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
Usually for most, it's a 2-hour limit. But the schools we've been to, we've done like 20 minutes to half an hour.
Okay.
That's not a restriction on her. That's just how
It was their
how
schedule.
it actually ended up.
Okay.
It was real comical when we went to Buffalo. I noticed a little boy sitting in the back looked really familiar. And they, you know, said, do you have any questions? And he raised his hand. He goes, are you a dog trainer? And after she called him by name, I realized who he was. And then he started talking about his dog. And of course the teacher had to say, you're supposed to be asking questions, not talking about, you know, something. So it's really good they keep us on task, because I would have just sat there and talked to him about how his dog was doing and what they've been up to and stuff like that. Any other questions? Yes.
So do you train dogs, like for not this?
Yes. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Are they still,
So if you want her contact information, then I can give you that too, but.
are they still therapy dogs at that point, or do you train ESAs, or do you train service dogs, or do you train all of the above?
I do not train a service dog for a specific service, okay? But they all need, regardless, they all need basic manners. They all need, you need a good communication between yourself and your dog. So that's kind of the foundation of that perspective.
And I know we're out of time, and we've gone over our
Yeah, we
time.
have to get on.
I just want to throw out one thing, just going back to your question again. When they visited Martha Elementary, the teacher sent me an email, and she said, I have one little boy who had a total meltdown that morning. And she said, they came in, and she said, we had had a bad morning. And by the time they left, he was ready to continue on with the day. So they're, like Robin said, their job is to kind of inform, but while they're there, the therapy's going on. But that's our eventual goal. Okay, if you all have any more questions, you can send them to me. Again, we're excited for this new venture, and we are currently polling the university for how they can use it, like all the colleges and how they can use a therapy dog. So anyway, sorry we
Thank
couldn't.
you. No, it's okay. All righty. Okay, so Ms. Watt is next with Career Services. I told them this is like the one that they like soak it up on this one. And I glanced at my email. She has already sent me the PowerPoint.
I did, I sent, so
And
I
so
wouldn't
I
forget.
will be forwarding that to you tomorrow morning-ish. So I'm going to turn things over to her now.
I was gonna do the clicker, but
Oh.
it's okay, I can walk back.
Infuriating.
Not a big deal. How are you guys? Are you tired? Yeah. Okay, all right, so my name is Beth and I work in Career Services on campus. That is a lie, I do not. I work in the Office of Career Education, they changed our name.
Oh
I'm not
my,
used to it.
sorry. Okay.
I will be career services as long as I can. I cannot grasp that. So I'll talk to you a little bit about your resume development and stuff like that. If you all have any questions, you can, ask me to answer, but because we're a little short on time, you can also email me. Amanda has my information. She'll also send you the PowerPoint, so you should be good to go, okay? But feel free to interrupt me as I'm talking, so we have some engagement. I just wanted to pull this up here because all of you all, the one thing you have in common is that you're going to be looking for a job when you graduate, right? Does anybody here have one already lined up with the school system or anything? No? So all of you guys are going to be looking for jobs. All of you all are going to have the same degree, right? So what makes you special? What makes you stand out? What's going to have you get a job over somebody else? Well, there is an organization that has targeted these 8 things that kind of makes you stand out and be a little different, and this is what employers are looking for. So when you're writing your resume, you're writing any kind of Q&As, any kind of cover letter, think about addressing these 8 things because they are important. Being able to think critically and problem solve. Just if you put it on your resume that you can do it, that it's a skill, that doesn't mean anything, okay? Because I can say that I'm great in, Japanese, but then when I go for an interview, how am I going to prove that, right? So when you guys are talking about your skill sets and what makes you special and what makes you good, you have to kind of explain where you got those skills, how you developed them. So you could say something like strong leadership skills developed through organizational activities or a certain club that you were in. But you need to kind of explain it so they know where you're getting this from. So separate yourself out. Good communication. Teachers should have awesome communication skills, right? Right? Being able to work well with others, you should be awesome at that as well, right? Leadership. Who in here feels like during their time at Marshall they have gained strong leadership abilities? Okay, through clubs, through orgs, anything like that. So being able to demonstrate these is really, really important. I will tell you personally, the biggest complaint that we get back in our office from local employers deals with this one, and it's professionalism and work ethic. So, knowing what it means to be professional, what you wear to your student teaching, your students, so you don't have to wear a suit every day, right? That costs a lot of money. But just knowing that is probably the biggest complaint we have from our employers. So just kind of think about that, going above and beyond, okay? Because I think that's really important. I think the next slide talks about networking, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but how did the majority of you all get your jobs? Connections through somebody you know, right? So all of you all have gone through your 35-hour observation, right? Your 75-hour observation. So when you guys were doing those observations, did you take time out to go in and connect with the principal at that school? Who did? Good. Who took time out to maybe go to like any kind of after-school meetings or any kind of organizations that the school had, any kind of activities? This is what's going to put you above and beyond. Who wrote handwritten thank you note to the teacher you were with and the school you were with? These are the kind of things you need to think about doing because you have got to start developing those relationships because even if the principal at your school doesn't have a job opening, you know they're going to know another principal, right? So they can put a word of mouth in for you. So anything you can do above and beyond, developing those connections is important, okay? Because honestly, that's probably how a lot of you are going to get your jobs. Who wants to stay in the state? Who knows another state they want to go to? Like they know what the state is. Who just wants a job? They don't care. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, that's fair. I understand. You need to make money, pay back your education. Okay. So, do all of you all have a resume in writing? I mean, do you all have one? Some kind of draft that you started? At this point, when you are submitting your resume to job apps, do you want to have 1 pages or 2 pages, or does it matter? One is ideal. I run into a lot of education majors, though, who have done like maybe a summer job at Energy Express or some kind of tutoring job that you have. So some kind of job that's really related to education. So if it needs to run over, that's okay. But don't ever just go in with the philosophy that more is better because that's not always the case. okay? So if you can get it on one, that's ideal. If you need to go over it, that's okay, all right? Now, what about your actual references that you've gotten from here at Marshall? Are you gonna put those on your resume? You would think so, yes. They don't go on your resume, okay? They just take up room where you can have space to add in some really good information. And normally, I'm going to just guess when you guys are applying for jobs, I wish the state of West Virginia had like a unified system, but they don't. Every county seems to be different in your application. But I would imagine when you all are applying at your counties, you're gonna have a separate page where you actually need to manually type in your references and their contact information, or you'll have to upload them separately. So just take them off your resume and leave that space for some other good stuff, okay? What about hobbies, personal information, interests, things like that? Do they go on your document? No, just leave it as academic as you can, okay? Now, you're going into an education field. So when you're talking about how your resume looks, do you guys want a traditional format, or is it okay to be a little bit unique? Huh, we don't know. Okay, well, let me ask you this. Is anybody in here like an art major? Music? Music, yeah. I think you guys can kind of be a little bit unique because you're going into, you know, a field that's a little bit more creative. Elementary kind of can be unique too, but you primarily want to go traditional, okay? One thing you do not want to do, and if you've done this, I recommend you start over, is using a Word template, a Google template, Yahoo template, any of those, because our employers tell us that if you're using the same template as the next person and the next person, what's going to make you special? One employer told us they felt it looked lazy because you didn't have the ability to open up your document and then type your information in on your own, okay? So just kind of stay away from those templates, create it yourself in Word, and then you can kind of play around with your font and your style and all that good stuff, okay? But really, really kind of stay away from those templates. Okay, so let's talk about your actual document. I'm going to break each one of these down for you, but here are typical headings for education majors. So you definitely want to have your education in there, right? Do you want to have high school? No. Get rid of all your high school stuff from your resume altogether. The only thing you can leave from high school or should leave from high school is if you're a valedictorian, salutatorian, something like that, okay? You definitely want to have some skills. If any of you have relevant experience, like I was talking about earlier, like tutoring or anything like that that relates to your major, definitely break that out. Has everybody in here had like at least a job throughout their life that they can add their work experience on there? Okay. Honors and activities, this is a biggie because you know those 8 things that we kind of showed you at the beginning? This is kind of how you can break those out and separate yourself out from somebody else, okay? Does anybody in here have tons of community service? If you have tons of community service, then you can separate that out into its own section. If you just have a little bit you want to add, you can throw it into activities.
Is there like an expiration on community service, would you say?
Yeah. I don't think you should include anything from high school, unless it relates to what you're doing. Yeah. Anybody here belong to any kind of professional membership? Do you all have professional memberships you can belong to? Is there a kind of teachers association or something you can do? Okay. Does anybody here have any like extra certifications, like in programs or anything to add on there? And you all have all taken your praxis, right? That's exciting, so you can add that on there. All right. Has any of you all gone to like any kind of continuing ed, professional development workshops outside of the classroom? You can add those on there. Okay? So between all of this, you should have a full and good, well-developed resume. Okay? So we'll break it down real quick. Make sure with your personal information, you include, you know, name, address, telephone, and email. Now, all of y'all have a personal email, right? Yahoo, Google, whatever it may be. You can use that if you want to. You don't have to use Marshall. But the only thing I tell students, if you're going to use your personal email, make sure it's representative of your name. that it's not an interest or a hobby or something like that. If it is and you still want to use Gmail or something, just create a new one, okay?
When does your Marshall email expire?
It never does. It's never supposed to anyway. So that's what I've been told. You know, when you are typing in links and you hit enter and you have that blue hyperlink for email addresses and things like that, highlight it and change it to black so it's consistent with the rest of your document. Do any of you all have a LinkedIn account? A LinkedIn profile? If you do, you can take your LinkedIn URL and put it right there under your email as well. Because that's really good, because you know on a resume you're not allowed to put your age or a picture or anything personal, but if you put a LinkedIn link on there, then it's the employer's responsibility. It's on them if they then click out to see what you look like and what you've done and this and that. It's no longer on you, okay? So if you have a LinkedIn, stick it up there too. I think that's really important. What about art people? Do any of you all have portfolios? Online portfolios you can link to? That would also be a really good idea. Art, music, anything like that. Any kind of portfolio you want to put. Do you all have like have you ever gone to Weebly and like put in like samples of your lesson plans or maybe some of your evaluations that you can put on there? Creating a free website like Weebly or something would be really nice too. Then you can just stick that link on your resume and they can look out and see all that stuff. So I would look into that if I were you guys. There are more, but I think Weebly is kind of easy to use. So for your ed, okay, make sure all of you all are getting a BA. You're getting a Bachelor of Arts. So make sure that you put that definite on your resume. You're getting a BA, and then whatever your specialty is, okay? If your GPA is above a 3.0, add it, because again, that is part of you separating yourself out from everybody else, okay? So add that on there. Definitely add your Praxis endorsement on there, okay? So put your Praxis. Where, what subject matter did you get your Praxis in? Do you have to put your scores on there? No, you don't have to. But you definitely want to add that certification under your education, okay? Did any of you all go to another college and transfer into Marshall? When you all were going, did you go for longer than a year to those colleges? No? Yes? Yes, no, yes. If you go into another college a year or more, you probably should add that on there. But if it hasn't been more than a year, you don't have to worry about adding it, because those are going to show on your Marshall transcripts anyway. Did anybody have an AA or AS degree before coming to Marshall? That's awesome. Definitely add those on there, okay? So anything you can add there that's going to make you separate yourself out. But again, no high school, okay? It's time to get rid of high school. Does anybody in here have a minor? Throw it under your major, okay? So you will have your major, and then underneath your major, you want to list your minor, okay? Any questions about ed?
I also have a master's in history program. There specifically I should put those.
With the what? With what program?
The MAT program.
Oh, the MAT program? No, I don't think so. I think if you just list everything, you know, as your degree-wise and stuff, it should be fine. So you probably have a bachelor's degree and you're getting your MAT, right?
I have a bachelor's and master's in history. I'm also getting.
Oh, and you're also getting your MAT. Just list them in reverse chronological order.
Okay.
So start with your most recent and move your way down.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, list them all. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. This thing up here squeaks, doesn't it? I'm squeaky. Okay. So your experience. This really is where you need to work and spend the most of your time. I talk to so many education majors who don't think that it's okay on your resume to list your observation hours, to even put your student teaching on there, because to you guys, it's a requirement, right? It's a class. It's part of what you all have to do. But you need to list that on your resume, because that's going to give you your in-field experience, okay? Now, the 35-hour one, I don't think you need to list, okay? But I definitely do think you need to add your 75-hour and definitely your student teaching. Now, if you don't know exactly what you're going to be doing right now in student teaching, it's okay. But go ahead and list it on your resume so you can go in and add to it, okay? I'm guessing some of you on here are going to 2 different sites in your student teaching. Yeah, so you want to make sure that you list both sites on there, okay? All right, so make sure you do that. This, you all know Bloom's taxonomy, right?
You all are all familiar with Blooms. I love talking to education people. So when you guys are really